Back. It's another rant. It's another Wednesday. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Montreal. I would love to tell you what the weather's like in Florida, but Stuart unfortunately is running a bit late, and he'll join us, I hope, as soon as he can. I know he's got something he's dealing with here. But in the meantime, once again, flying solo again for another day. And, look, it's just one of those things that just absolutely fascinates me to no end when it comes up to how things have been in the last little bit. And once again, it's hard to swallow. Monday, while right after our rant, we saw what happened outside of Chicago. A horrible, horrible shooting. Uh, you know, guy getting a gun legally. 7 people are dead. Unfortunately, it's really, really terrible, really, really terrible situation that occurred in outside of Chicago. And instead of like coming together as a group of people, the divisiveness is just extraordinary, and the anger and the hate and the vilification and the pointing of the fingers and what have you. The mayor of Chicago is a great example of what I'm talking about. The mayor of Chicago, instead of standing up for what's right, she turns around and in her pure hypocrisy, as a typical member of the left, when it's convenient, let's act properly. When it's inconvenient, let's not. So what am I saying here is like when Roe v. Wade came down, what did she ended up doing? Huh, that's unbelievable. She goes out and she says, she hears someone in the crowd yell, fuck Clarence Thomas, and she says, yes, fuck Clarence Thomas. African American mayor of Chicago stands up there and she vilifies an African American judge like that in such a way. It didn't make a difference. It really had no matter what. That's what she did. She vilified him. And then yesterday, she has the gall, Stuart. Hey, welcome. Lori Lightfoot has the gall to stand and say to everybody, let's be respectful of our organizations. And Stuart, the problem in the United States today is the left just hates America. And when we were, when you look at the immigrants that come to the US or Canada, they're looking for all the things that they don't have: freedom, liberty, practice religion, get a job, go outside freely, do whatever they want. And the left, all that they're doing is squashing all that. And it's vile, Stuart. Really, really vile. And you know what's worse than that? It's if you think it came from, let's say, my friends at The View, right? Now I love those guys, right? Those crazy wacky women who are on ABC. If it came from them, I would say, you know what? I know where it's coming from. But for God's sake, what I couldn't believe, Stuart, is ESPN permitted a columnist to write how much America sucks. Stuart, we can't hear you, unfortunately. You're on mute.
Do you know what the funny thing is, David? And that's why you couldn't hear me. I'm sorry I'm late. The amazing thing is that because you're in the United States, you have the right, the constitutional right to say how you really feel. And, that right was at the blood and lives of people before these people. July 4th is a celebration, but it's also almost a remembrance of how many people died to be able to give the freedom from some asshole from ESPN to talk shit about the country that allows them to talk shit. And, David, another thing is, I challenge all of these people that are so far to the left because they believe Trump is a bad guy and that Republicanism is Hitlerism.
No, Stuart, it's worse than that. But it's worse than that. It's worse than that.
Let me finish my thought. Is that I challenge these people to move to Moscow, to move to St. Petersburg, to
Venezuela.
move to Venezuela, move to Cuba, move to a country that is more like the rules and regulations that you're after. Move to Tehran and get $1 gasoline.
David,
when the president of the United States when the president of the United States seems to be anti-United States is a time that you gotta wonder what's up with the party. This is the
Ah.
greatest country in the world. I know you live in Canada. You don't want to hear that,
No,
but
no, the
this
opposite. The
this
opposite.
this is the land of the free and home of the brave. If we can only get rid of the progressive woke left, because
Well,
as far as I'm concerned, they are the definition. They're the definition of why we had McCarthyism. And they're the sole reason why. They're the reasons why we had to go after people in the 50s. They're the reason why our education system has gone upside down. They're the reason why we have a Russia attacking the Ukraine and a government that doesn't want to back it. They're the
but
reasons why they want to appease Vladimir Putin and not necessarily stand toe in toe because every other world leader has been to the Ukraine. Biden hasn't
But
gone.
you know what, Stuart? I got to tell you something. And you're talking here about, and you've trashed. I get you. I get you. Talk trash about the Democratic Party, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. But it's just fascinating to hear the comments. Okay. And while you were away, you missed some of the funner stuff. For example, women have no more rights in the United States.
Hey, stop. Let's hit this issue one at a time. Women who fought from the beginning of our Constitution till 1963, 68, where they got some rights, now finally getting closer to equality. The woke is trying to take them down to the
Well,
1950s.
but this is the thing I was trying to say is that, an immigrant comes here from some of these third world countries, and women have a right to vote. Women could go to work. Women can go and practically do just about anything that they want. They can become entrepreneurs. They can get a career. They could. The sky's the limit. But Roe v. Wade gets taken down, and all of women's
Hell
rights are
breaks.
gone. Like, I'm
No,
sorry, and you
it
know what?
never
I'm
was that.
sorry.
Hey, David, but we
And
talked about this. Hang on, we
no,
talked
I know,
about this.
but Stuart, what I'm saying is, what the left hates of America is, you know, you know what's fascinating? The left take this propaganda, like you said, to Iran, to Russia, to Venezuela, and see how far you go. You're not
David,
going to get anywhere.
I'm even closer. Listen, if you believe that transgenderism, if you believe that women's rights are trash because of Roe v. Wade, move to California where
Hey,
those rights exist. Leave South
no,
Dakota.
but no,
Leave South Dakota. Listen, no,
but
no, no, no.
but
Let me
that's not
finish
but
my
that's
thought.
not the
I want to
situation
finish my
though.
thought. I want to finish my thought. It's very simple. I said earlier on in this conversation that if you don't like America, move to Russia, Venezuela, or Cuba. If you don't like South Dakota, move to California. If
But
you
it's not
don't like
even that.
California, move to South Dakota.
But
That's the
Stuart,
end of it.
but here's the crazy thing you just said, right? So the population, a minority of the population wants their way. A
Yep.
minority.
Yep.
Okay? Although the Democrats will tell you the vast majority, but it's not really like that.
Nope.
And yet the woke and the left demands that it change to accommodate them. Immigrants
Correct.
are going and going, holy crap, we got a good life, and you're bitching. The left is saying life ain't good enough. A fascinating statement you made. If you're not happy in South Dakota, move to California. Could you do that in Venezuela? Could you do that in Russia? No. So the point is that the liberties and the freedoms that were fought for, and you talk to somebody, and I've had the honor of talking to World War II vets who are upset. They've been upset for years that everything that they fought for is trashed. That the people don't appreciate the sacrifice made, the liberties that they've provided them. They've explained fascism and what Hitler was doing. And to call Trump a Hitlerite or a fascist, they're like, you guys have no clue what you're talking about. The propaganda shit is absolutely outrageous. And when an immigrant comes to the United States or Canada, they're scratching their head going, what are you complaining about? That your iPhone isn't the most modern iPhone? That you don't have the best shoes, that you don't have stores and food. I mean, for God's sakes, we're complaining about a supply chain shortage because baby food wasn't available because a factory went down. These people have come from countries where they couldn't get food for months, if not years. And yet they come to America and they come to Canada, and their first reaction is, thank you. And the left says, fuck you. Thank you, Lori Lightfoot. Fuck you,
Oh,
Clarence Thomas.
Lori Lightfoot. Can they just please just remove her with
They
AOC?
won't. They
And,
won't
and,
because she's a great example of where the left has got it backwards. You hate America because conservatism works. You look in a lot of states and things work. But you go to Chicago and you go to a New York and you go to a Los Angeles and you go to a San Francisco and you wonder now why people are suddenly going, this isn't working anymore. You said defund the police because the police are bad, right? They're Gestapo like. I mean, again, talk to immigrants. You don't know what a police state is like. You don't know what real fear is like. And yet you're telling them don't. Go to France. And I ranted about this on Monday. There are cities in which the police will not enter into. There are entire communities that they will not enter because their lives are at stake. There's not enough money out there to send the police in there. Could you imagine telling that to a police officer in the United States, saying, hey, you know what? I want you to go into one of the neighborhoods in Chicago. And they say, no, I won't go there. Okay? But your attitude is defund the police. The police suck. The police are terrible. The police are all racists. I mean, again, these generalizations, these sweeping, statements, and the left shows its ugly side. When ESPN's article was published, and I read this article about vilification of America, I mean, I'm not, you know what? I don't look to an entertainment magazine to talk to me about politics. I certainly don't want a sports publication to tell me about politics. And it took half an article to tell me how lives in the United States suck. That a black person, an African American, his life or her life is still the worst. The worst? Really? Okay, go to China as an African American. Go to Russia as an African American. You tell me, Brittany Griner is now sitting in a jail in Russia. And ask her right now, if you can, as an African American, go to Stuart. I got an echo there.
yeah, yeah.
Like if Brittany Griner, a women's professional basketball player, she was caught with drugs. Supposedly, she's sitting in jail. When she comes out, ask her what it's like there. It's not what it is here, folks. So if you're really unhappy, Stuart, and I mean, like, really, if you are unhappy, do us all a favor. Sell your house, move out of your apartment, go somewhere else. We all don't mind if you go to California, frankly. Go to California, pay higher for your gas, pay higher taxes, have less energy opportunities, and all go there. You're going to all go to California. But don't come to North Dakota or South Dakota or Idaho or Mississippi or Alabama or Florida and tell us how to live our lives. We're not interested, and neither are the immigrants. They're not interested in the left and their woke stupidity. They want to make a living. They want to have a freedom, and they can get it in the United States, and they can certainly get it in Canada. But they're sick and tired of listening to how much the left craps on the countries. Stuart, I don't know. You've seen it. You've heard it.
David, I mean, it just sums up, if you don't like where you live, you don't like your neighbors, you can't change your neighbors. So just move somewhere where you find it to be nice.
Go make them miserable, right? Go make the neighbors miserable, right? Good luck with that.
It just doesn't make any sense, David. I'm at my wit's end. This whole subject matter and the visceralness, and it's not the right that's visceral; it's the left.
No, absolutely.
The left is the one that goes and does the nastiness. The right just sort of wants to keep things status quo. And
Well,
status
no, I
quo,
think no. I think the right doesn't want it status quo. The right is looking at things and saying, let's put the emotion aside for just a second. Just put it aside. Yeah, both sides like to shit on each other, and there's propaganda and there's crap and whatever. But when you sit there and you say, okay, I want this, and the right goes, well, how are we paying for it? That's not emotion. That's logic. They want a rationale, and the left just doesn't want it. They just want to be angry. They want to throw their temper tantrums. Stuart, we're running out of time here.
We're
Quarter
out
after
of
10.
time. We're out of time.
So
We've
I
done
guess
it.
I guess we'll have to see everybody on Friday.
You know, Friday's the next day we're all together. So I think Friday it's got to be.
Say goodbye, Stuart.
Say goodbye.